The most confident person in the room is rarely the smartest one. In fact, there's a specific, well-documented psychological reason why the least competent people often walk around with the most unshakable certainty, and once you understand it, you'll start noticing it everywhere. Subscribe before we go further. By the end of this, you'll know exactly how to spot it in real time. Part 1. In 1999, psychologists David Dunning and Justin Kruger ran a study that would end up naming an entire phenomenon. They found that people with low ability in a given skill logic, grammar, humor, consistently overestimated their own competence, while genuinely skilled people tended to underestimate theirs. The reason wasn't arrogance. It was structural. The same skill required to perform a task well is the skill required to recognize when you've performed it poorly. Without that skill, there's no internal alarm system to signal the gap at all. Part 2. This is the part most people miss. Recognizing your own limitations is not a separate trait from the skill itself, it is the skill applied to yourself. Someone with very little knowledge in an area doesn't just lack the answers. They lack the framework needed to even recognize which questions they should be asking. The confidence isn't a personality flaw layered on top of ignorance. It's the direct, mechanical result of ignorance having no way to detect itself. If you've ever watched someone argue confidently about a topic they clearly didn't understand, hit like right now. Because what I'm describing is exactly the mechanism you were witnessing. Part 3. Here's the strange, counterintuitive flip side. As people actually gain real expertise, their confidence often dips before it rises again. Learning enough to glimpse the true size and complexity of a subject makes people acutely aware of everything they still don't know. This is why genuine experts frequently hedge, qualify, and express uncertainty, while beginners speak in absolutes. The hedge isn't weakness, it's an accurate read of the terrain. Part 4. This effect has always existed, but the environment we live in now amplifies it considerably. Confidence, not accuracy, is the trait that performs well on camera and in short-form content. A person stating something wrong with total certainty will often outperform. In engagement and perceived credibility, an expert carefully explaining the actual nuance. Audiences, without specialized knowledge themselves, frequently use confidence as a proxy for competence, because it's the only signal they have easy access to. Subscribe if this is resonating. Next week, we go deeper into exactly how to evaluate expertise without relying on confidence as your guide. Part 5. An important nuance often gets lost here. This effect is domain-specific, not a fixed trait of smart versus stupid people as categories. The same person can be genuinely skilled and appropriately humble in one area, while being confidently, obliviously wrong in another they've never seriously studied. Nobody is exempt from this. The pattern shows up in all of us, in whichever specific corner of knowledge we've never been forced to test rigorously. If you've ever caught yourself being confidently wrong about something, only to realize it later, drop it in the comments. I want to know what finally showed you the gap. Part 6. The way out of this trap isn't simply telling yourself to be humble, which tends to produce performed modesty rather than real correction. The actual fix is exposure to accurate, specific feedback from people more skilled than you, from measurable outcomes, from tests that don't care how confident you felt walking in. Confidence that has survived real testing is worth something. Confidence that has never been tested is just noise. Closing, the loudest, most certain voice in the room is telling you more about their relationship to feedback than about their actual competence. Real expertise tends to sound quieter, more qualified, more willing to say, I'm not sure. Learning to hear the difference is, itself, a form of the very expertise this entire effect describes. Hit that like button if this changed how you'll read confidence going forward. Drop in the comments, where have you caught yourself falling into this exact trap? I read every single one. Subscribe. Before you go, we go further into this next week. Until then, the next time you feel completely certain, pause, ask what you'd need to know to actually prove yourself wrong.